building on time? I've been wanting to try to build something for speed for a long time. Let's learn how to build Mikey Mutant.
Round 1.
I start this tutorial with the most important part of my mutant version of myself, the giant head. I use slime blocks for almost the entire outside because they have that bright green color and a shiny texture that instantly makes the build look like it has been changed by some strange experiment. Instead of making the whole head solid, I build a strong core from green terracotta first. The terracotta gives the inside a sturdy foundation, while the slime blocks create the outer layer that everyone will actually see. Even though Minecraft doesn't have structural physics for blocks like these, building an interior first is a great habit because it makes large sculptures easier to shape without accidentally leaving huge empty spaces everywhere. I keep checking the proportions from every angle so the head stays perfectly cube-shaped while still looking like a giant mutant version of me. Once the center is finished, I build the outer frame of the cube with slime blocks before filling in every side except the front. Leaving one side open makes it much easier to work on the face without constantly flying around the build. I create my facial features using black and red concrete to make them stand out against the bright green slime. Strong color contrast is one of the easiest ways to make expressions visible from far away, especially on giant statues. After the face is complete, I seal the remaining opening with more slime blocks, so the entire head becomes one finished sculpture. I look at the timer and realize I still have well over 5 minutes left. Finishing this quickly means I have plenty of time to watch what everyone else builds, and it also shows that breaking a large project into simple stages can make even giant Minecraft sculptures much easier to complete. Phew, I barely made it on time. Great, my Mikey Mutant is ready.
Hello.
Hey, Carrie, look! I built it in less than 5 minutes. Do you like?
Yay!
Really? I am very glad that you like my makeshift construction. Maybe then you can try to build Mikey Mutant yourself in just 10 minutes?
Ta-da!
They ran to the place. This is where your building will be. Are you ready?
Yay!
Then go ahead.
Round 2.
Carrie immediately begins working on the lower part of Mutant Mikey by building both legs. I can already tell she wants this version to look much more like a monster than an ordinary turtle. She uses green concrete for the toes and switches to lime concrete for the rest of the legs, creating a nice contrast between the different shades of green. Instead of making simple rectangular feet, she shapes the toes so they resemble the feet of a creeper. That is actually a clever design choice because creepers are one of the most recognizable mobs in Minecraft, and borrowing some of their features instantly makes the mutant version look more unusual. Using multiple shades of the same color is a great trick for adding depth without making the palette too complicated. As the legs become taller, Carrie keeps their proportions thick and sturdy so they can support the massive body that will be built later. Large statues always look more believable when the lower body appears capable of carrying the weight above it. Even though Minecraft blocks never collapse, following real construction principles helps giant characters feel much more convincing. I like how she keeps both legs perfectly symmetrical, because symmetry is especially important when building characters. One leg that is even a single block different can completely change the appearance of the finished statue, so taking the time to match both sides is definitely worth it. With both legs complete, Carrie immediately starts building the torso using lime concrete. She keeps the body noticeably wider than the legs, making the mutant version look much stronger and far more intimidating than the regular Mikey. Large characters often have exaggerated proportions because oversized shoulders and a broad chest make them appear much more powerful from a distance. Instead of rushing to close every side, she first outlines the overall shape and checks that it lines up perfectly with the legs below. Building the main silhouette before filling the walls is a useful technique because it makes it much easier to spot mistakes, while the structure is still easy to adjust. Now Carrie begins one of the most recognizable details of any turtle, the shell. She builds it on both the front and the back, so the character looks complete from every direction. To make the shell stand out from the rest of the body, she combines green terracotta with green concrete. Although both materials are similar in color, their textures are completely different. Concrete has a very smooth surface, while terracotta looks rougher and more natural. Mixing different textures without changing the overall color palette is a popular building technique because it creates visual depth without making the design feel messy or overloaded with colors. As the shell grows larger, I notice she avoids making it completely flat. Small layers and subtle changes in depth help it look like real armor attached to the body instead of a simple green wall. Real turtle shells are naturally curved and consist of separate plates that fit together, protecting the animal while still allowing it to move. Minecraft blocks are obviously square, but adding just a little thickness helps suggest that same protective structure. Tiny adjustments like these often make the difference between an ordinary statue and one that feels carefully designed. With the torso finished, the entire statue already has a powerful silhouette. The creeper-inspired legs blend nicely into the bulky upper body, while the shell immediately tells viewers that this is still Mikey, despite the mutant transformation. One thing I really like about Carrie's approach is that she keeps introducing familiar Minecraft and turtle features instead of inventing completely random details. That balance makes the build easy to recognize while still giving it a unique, monster-like appearance. The body is now fully prepared for the final stage, where the giant head will bring the whole character to life. For the final stage, Carrie begins constructing a giant cube-shaped head using lime concrete as the main material. Keeping the head perfectly cubic matches the blocky style of Minecraft, while also making the mutant version feel much larger than the normal Mikey. I notice she builds the overall shape first, instead of immediately adding facial details. That is always a smart approach, because getting the proportions right is much more important than decorating a head that has the wrong size. Large Minecraft statues are usually recognized by their silhouette before anyone notices the smaller details, so establishing a clean outline is the first priority. With the cube complete, Carrie starts giving the mutant its expression. She builds a creeper-style mouth from black concrete before adding 2 simple black eyes above it. Even though the face contains only a few blocks, it instantly changes the personality of the entire statue. This is a great example of how simple designs can be incredibly effective. Many iconic Minecraft mobs use only a handful of facial features, yet they are recognizable from hundreds of blocks away because of their strong color contrast and clean shapes. Carrie finishes the head with time still left on the clock, proving that planning each stage before placing blocks is one of the easiest ways to build quickly without sacrificing quality.
Ta-da! Yay!
Where did everyone run off to? Hey guys, what's all that noise?
Carrie and I are building Mikey Mutant on time, JJ. Who did it better?
Oh, both of your buildings look great. but I think it's up to the audience to decide who did the best.
Yes, JJ, you're right. Maybe then you have comments on the construction of Carrie.
Yes, there are a couple of comments. Your mutant lacks details, texture. You haven't passed it on at all.
I totally agree with you, JJ. Maybe then you can build your Mikey Mutant in 15 minutes?
Okay, then let's run to the place.
JJ, good luck to you. We'll wait in the house.
Thanks, guys. Then I'm starting. Round 3. I decide to give my Mutant Mikey a completely different silhouette by starting with extremely long, slender legs inspired by an Enderman. Instead of making them thick and heavy, I build them from lime concrete as 2 tall columns that stretch high above the ground. This instantly changes the character's proportions and makes the mutant look much more mysterious and intimidating. Endermen are famous for their unusually long limbs, and that unique body shape makes them recognizable even from a great distance. By borrowing that design idea while keeping Mikey's signature green color, I create a hybrid that feels familiar but also completely new. One useful character design principle is that changing proportions often has a bigger impact than adding extra details. Simply making the legs longer gives the entire statue a much more dramatic appearance before the rest of the body has even been built. With the legs finished, I move on to the front of the torso and begin shaping the main body using lime concrete. I deliberately make the chest much broader than the legs, so the statue feels powerful instead of fragile. The contrast between the thin Enderman-style legs and the wider upper body creates a striking silhouette that immediately catches the eye. When designing large Minecraft characters, proportions are one of the most important elements. Players often recognize a statue from hundreds of blocks away based on its outline alone, long before they notice smaller decorative details. That is why I spend extra time making sure every section flows naturally into the next. Now, it is time to build Mikey's shell, one of the most recognizable features of the character. Instead of making it from concrete, I combine oak planks and acacia planks. Using wood immediately gives the shell a warmer, more natural appearance, almost like overlapping protective plates. The slight color difference between the 2 types of wood creates gentle contrast without making the shell feel too busy. Real turtle shells are made of many individual plates that fit together. And while Minecraft cannot recreate every small detail, mixing similar materials with different textures helps capture the same effect. Texture is just as important as color when trying to make a build look more realistic. As I continue filling the front of the shell, I make sure it extends slightly away from the body instead of sitting completely flat against the torso. Even a 1-block difference in depth creates stronger shadows and gives the shell much more volume. Modern Minecraft builders often rely on depth rather than excessive decoration to make large statues stand out. Looking at the statue now, the combination of the towering Enderman-like legs, the bright lime body, and the layered wooden shell already gives Mutant Mikey a completely unique personality. It still clearly resembles Mikey, but the proportions and materials make it look like a powerful creature that has evolved into something far more imposing. After finishing the front, I fly around to the back of the statue to complete the shell. This side is just as important because giant builds are meant to be viewed from every angle, not only from the front. For the back shell, I switch to green concrete and green terracotta instead of wood. Both materials share a similar color, but their different textures make the shell feel much more detailed. The smooth concrete contrasts nicely with the rougher terracotta, creating the illusion of large, protective plates layered across Mikey's back. By giving the shell thickness and texture on both sides, the statue now looks complete from every direction and feels much more like a real mutant creature than a flat, decorative sculpture. With the body complete, I begin constructing the giant cube-shaped head using lime concrete. I always start with the overall shape before thinking about facial details because proportions determine whether a character will be recognizable from a distance. The head is intentionally oversized to match the exaggerated style of the mutant body. Large statues often look much more expressive when the head is slightly bigger than realistic proportions, especially in Minecraft, where every facial feature is built from square blocks. As I close each side of the cube, I keep checking the alignment from every direction to make sure the head sits perfectly centered on the torso. Now, I start working on Mikey's face. For the mouth, I use black and red concrete to recreate his familiar expression while giving it a little more depth than a simple flat design. Strong contrast is extremely important when building giant faces because expressions need to remain visible even from far away. Black concrete outlines the shape clearly, while the red blocks make the mouth stand out against the bright lime skin. Even with only a few colors, the face immediately becomes recognizable, proving that careful placement often matters more than using dozens of different materials. The eyes are where I decide to make this mutant version truly unique. Instead of giving Mikey his usual small eyes, I build unusually wide eyes using green concrete together with green terracotta. The slightly different textures create subtle shading, making the eyes appear deeper and much more expressive. Their larger size gives the mutant an intense stare that completely changes the personality of the statue. In character design, the eyes usually become the main focal point because people naturally look at faces first. By exaggerating their width while keeping the familiar green color palette, I create a version of Mikey that still feels recognizable, but looks far more powerful and mysterious than the original. With the head complete, I move to the sides of the body and begin building both arms from lime concrete. Just like the legs, I keep them long and relatively slim to match the Enderman-inspired proportions. Instead of extending them straight outward, I angle them slightly forward while letting them hang naturally toward the ground. That relaxed posture immediately gives the statue the same calm but slightly eerie appearance that Endermen are known for. One important rule when building large characters is to think about their pose as much as their shape. Even a small change in the angle of an arm can make a statue look completely different, turning a stiff figure into one that appears ready to move at any moment. After finishing one arm, I carefully mirror the design on the opposite side so both limbs are perfectly identical. Symmetry is especially important for giant statues because even a one-block difference becomes very noticeable when the build reaches this scale. I keep comparing both sides from different viewing angles to make sure the shoulders, elbows, and hands line up correctly. With both arms complete, the mutant finally has the unmistakable silhouette I was aiming for. The combination of towering Enderman-like legs, long relaxed arms, and Mikey's familiar turtle features creates a unique hybrid that immediately stands out while still being easy for viewers to recognize. Now I want to add one more detail that makes the Enderman inspiration impossible to miss. Instead of leaving Mikey's hands empty, I build a giant block of grass that he appears to be carrying. I start with the lower section using brown concrete and brown wool to recreate the appearance of soil. Mixing two materials with similar colors gives the block a little extra texture, making it look much less flat than if I had used only one type of block. In Minecraft, the grass block is one of the most iconic blocks in the entire game, so viewers recognize it almost instantly, even when it is built on a much larger scale. Once the soil is finished, I create the grassy top using lime concrete together with lime wool. Once again, I intentionally combine materials with different textures instead of relying on a single block. The smoother concrete and softer looking wool imitate the natural variation that real grass has when viewed from a distance. Even though the colors are nearly identical, the slight texture changes make the surface much more believable. This is a useful building technique that can be applied to many large sculptures. Repeating one color while alternating textures often creates depth without introducing unnecessary visual clutter. As I continue shaping the block, I make sure its proportions match the enormous size of the statue. If the grass block were too small, it would look like a toy in Mikey's hands. By scaling it appropriately, it feels as though he has effortlessly lifted an entire section of the ground. This is another important principle of large-scale building. Accessories should grow together with the character. Keeping every object in proportion helps the whole scene feel intentional instead of making different elements appear disconnected. Oh no, time flies so fast, I didn't even notice. With the oversized grass block complete, the Enderman influence becomes unmistakable. Endermen are famous for wandering the world while carrying blocks, and giving Mutant Mikey the same behavior creates an entertaining crossover between two recognizable Minecraft characters. At the same time, I keep Mikey's bright green color palette and turtle features, so the build still has its own identity instead of looking like a simple Enderman recolor. Small storytelling details like this often make giant statues much more memorable because they suggest that the character has a personality, not just an impressive appearance. The outside of the statue is finally complete, but I do not want it to be just a giant sculpture. I decide to transform it into a fully functional base by creating an entrance hidden inside the body. I build a passage leading through the statue and into Mikey's stomach using oak trapdoors as decorative trim. Once inside, I line the walls, floor, and ceiling with concrete so the interior feels clean and organized instead of looking like the empty inside of a statue. Turning large statues into usable buildings is one of my favorite building techniques because every block serves two purposes at once. From the outside, players see an impressive character, while inside, there is a practical space that can actually be used during survival gameplay. Now it is the perfect time for furniture. Since I am using ready-made furniture from the mod, I can focus on creating a comfortable layout instead of crafting every object by hand. I place a bed together with a bedside table and a modern lamp, creating a cozy sleeping corner. Nearby, I decorate the room with anvils covered by leaf blocks to resemble indoor plants. Little touches like these make the interior feel much warmer without taking up much space. I also add bookshelves and an enchanting table, giving the room the feeling of a study where players can improve their equipment while living inside the giant Mutant Mikey. The stomach still has plenty of unused space, so I turn the remaining area into a practical storage room. I install several furnaces for smelting resources and place rows of chests where building materials, tools, and valuable items can be neatly organized. Functional rooms are just as important as decorative ones because they allow the build to serve a real purpose in survival mode. A giant statue becomes much more valuable when it is not only beautiful to look at, but also works as a complete player base. Finally, I make the entire interior easy to access by building a staircase inside one of Mikey's legs. The stairs connect the ground directly to the living area, allowing players to enter the statue naturally instead of flying inside. Hidden staircases are commonly used in giant character builds because they preserve the appearance of the exterior while making the inside completely accessible. Looking at the finished project, I love how it combines two ideas in one build. From the outside, it is a towering mutant Mikey that dominates the landscape, while inside, it functions as a fully equipped modern base with everything needed for survival. That is one of my favorite building principles. Whenever possible, a large decorative build should also have a practical purpose. Great, my Mikey Mutant is ready. It's time for me to show it to the guys.
Wow, JJ, you've got an unusual mutant. It's so interesting how you combined him into an Enderman.
Thank you guys. I am very glad that you liked my building. Friends, be sure to write in the comments whose building you liked the most. Well, I think it's time for us to finish.
Yes, JJ, you're right.
Subscribe and like. Bye-bye.